Deep inside our souls, our inner child awaits. They are waiting to be acknowledged, remembered, and loved. No matter what stage of life you are currently in, your inner child is asking to join you on your journey to provide support, guidance, and healing. Inner child work is often the missing puzzle piece in our spiritual evolution. We can learn all the ancient knowledge in existence, but healing the grief and loneliness of the inner child is the key to embodying unconditional love and transcendence. Our inner child wants peace and resolution, and the way to get it is by fully embracing them. In this video, I'm going to share the importance of inner child work and a meditation to connect with them so that you can fully heal and integrate this sacred aspect. The inner child is easy to forget and neglect, just as easily as our needs were forgotten and neglected as children. Even those who experience stable or normal family lives have stored trauma that inner child work can uncover and heal. The inner child resides in our subconscious and has recorded all of the traumas that are buried deep inside of us, hidden and forgotten by time. Through the survival mechanism of suppression, parts of us go unconscious in order for the individual to continue to function. The process to becoming whole again is done through our inner child. This is the aspect of us that wants to be seen, heard, and ultimately integrated. Our inner child is trying to get our attention so that we can meet our own needs and love ourselves, instead of assigning those roles to people, places, or things. It can be difficult to feel complete on this journey, but when you meet your inner child, you will start feeling the safety and security inside yourself that comes with healing this crucial shadow aspect. When you send love to your inner child, you are telling them that they are safe to exist and thrive. You are giving them the home they've always wanted and inviting them to share their talents, imagination, and guidance with you. Our inner child rejoices when we follow our greatest enthusiasm and embrace our gifts. If you feel a lot of resistance on your path and find yourself unhappy with your life and journey, then it's time to visit your inner child and ask them what you could do to make them, and ultimately you, happy. It often comes as a surprise to people that they need this work because it can sound abstract or even too simple to be the answer to our problems. But the feeling you get when you make the initial connection is an intense maternal love for yourself. It encompasses compassion, understanding, empathy, and joy. It is like an ancient recognition of your soul and your innocence. How do you know when it's time to do inner child work? The first and most obvious sign that you need to connect with your inner child is if you've experienced any kind of childhood trauma. Suppressed trauma lives in the body. If not acknowledged and healed, this trauma can manifest in adulthood in the form of mental, emotional, or physical illness. Energetically, healing trauma makes the body less dense or lighter. And when the body becomes lighter, it becomes a match to the higher dimensions, supporting our ascension or creating more escape velocity. And yes, that video is on its way. Another sign that it's time to do this work is if you are unhappy with your career and life choices. The inner child is disappointed when it feels that you have gone against your will and your own truth, or when you have abandoned your joy and enthusiasm for something you feel obligated or pressured into. Not having a creative outlet also creates tension between you and your inner child. The inner child is an artist who wants to create and express themselves. They see beauty and curiosity in the world around them, and they let their imagination dictate their dreams and inspirations. We often lose this ability once we are indoctrinated in our school, family, and religious communities. And when we are adults, we only realize the gold in these qualities when we've exhausted ourselves in dead-end jobs and societal pressures. Once you establish a relationship with your inner child, you can ask them for specific guidance and career advice. You will become inspired by your inner child in the most unexpected ways, such as taking on new hobbies and artistic outlets, journaling, taking a class and getting a certification, or even taking a vacation to somewhere you've always dreamed of visiting. Feeling like you are invisible is an indicator that your inner child needs to be seen. People who grew up in big families where their needs were overlooked due to a lack of attention and resources have an immense need to be seen and heard. Feeling unnoticed by parents or caregivers manifests into adulthood by feeling unnoticed in your career, social life, and romantic life. If you feel like your voice is always drowned out by another person's needs or their overpowering energy, you can meet these needs within yourself by giving yourself the love, attention, and voice that you never received. We don't have to be embarrassed when we're starved for attention. The truth is, we're starved for our own attention. And when we meet our inner child, the first thing they want is our recognition. When we are anxious, we are actually feeling our inner child's stress and anxiety over our lack of self-recognition. We don't need others to see us and validate us to prove that we are alive. We just need to look at ourselves and meet ourselves with the loving gaze and recognition we craved as children. If you are quick to anger, this is an important sign that your inner child is unhappy and is trying to get your attention. When the inner child is fearful, is in pain, is lonely, or fully succumbs to our neglect, it can act out in order to tell us that we need to change. When we try to express our rage in childhood, we're often punished and silenced. All of our pain is stored until we can't take it anymore, and we unleash at the slightest trigger. This is when you need to meet with your inner child and ask them, "Why are you hurting? What can I do for you?" When you get your answer, the first thing you should do is comfort your inner child and send them your unconditional love. There is no room for judgment in this work. You are allowed to look at all of your shame, embarrassment, and pain and honor all of it. The next step is loving yourself for feeling all of those things. This is what we rarely received as children, and this is all we wanted, to know that we are seen and loved no matter what emotions come forward. When you are ready to do inner child work, you could connect with your inner child in meditation by visualizing yourself anywhere between ages 4 and 7, but feel free to pick any age where you needed the most support. Sit comfortably in your space. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths while setting your intention to meet them. In your mind's eye, imagine them sitting in a room waiting for you, or sitting in your favorite place to visit, either as a child or now as a safe space you've created as an adult. Enter the room and embrace them. Trust what you are seeing and feeling. In a soft, gentle voice, speak to the inner child inside of you. Say hello, tell them you're here for them, and you will never leave them. Most importantly, say, "I love you." Ask your inner child, "What do you need from me today? And how can I make things better for you?" Listen to your inner child's answers. Make sure you see their lips move and do not intellectualize their response in your head. Be a parent to this child. Give them a hug and feel their heartbeat. Talk to your inner child about the things you like to do. Tell them stories or play games. The more imaginative and interactive you get, the more you will feel their connection. Make a list of all the things they would like to do together and then actually go out and do those things. For example, if they want to color, buy a pack of crayons and a coloring book and take the time to color with them. Treat yourself to something you loved doing as a child. For example, I loved crystals as a child, so when I buy crystals now, I'm just doing inner child work. Get into that joyful, innocent space that inspired you as a child and allowed you to dream. Remember to be the protector and parent you always needed. Make sure to regularly check in with them, especially when you are emotionally triggered and need to process, as this is usually a sign that your inner child is stressed and needs you to look at old wounds so that you can heal them together. This exercise is not the only method of connecting with your inner child. You connect with them every time you listen to your intuition and make a decision that comes from you. You speak directly to their heart with every "I love you" you send to yourself. The goal of this work is to integrate your inner child so that they are no longer a separate aspect of yourself. Instead, they become your inner voice, ready to guide you and love you through every stage of your sacred journey. Inner child work is continuous. You can measure your relationship with your inner child by the depth of eye contact you give yourself and how open you are to listening to all emotions. You will find that it becomes second nature by how well you treat yourself and how loving and open you become with yourself. The reward of this work is finally living in alignment with your personal truth and walking your path in wholeness with complete trust and unconditional love for yourself. To reinforce your connection with your inner child and to keep your heart space open and flowing, look in the mirror and say, "I love you" to yourself. Do this several times. Put your hand over your heart, hold eye contact with yourself, and go slow. Really feel into it. This simple practice is a powerful activation that releases emotional debris and helps us heal and integrate both the emotional and physical body. Remember that anytime you look into the mirror and hold eye contact with yourself, you have a direct line to send love to your inner child. Your inner child is waiting for you. Give them the gift of your unconditional love and eternal presence.